Hello, my name is Laura Lee Nevins, and I have created a website that explores the issues surrounding immigrant children and families in the school systems. I'm going to walk you through the site as we discuss background information, practical applications, different views on the topic, and my conclusions. So let's get started. I started off by saying we can make a difference. And it is true. Together we can make a difference. If the child, the parent, the teacher, the school, and the community come together, we can change things for the better. As schools incorporate large numbers of immigrant children, many who are English language learners, parent involvement could provide a significant source of support for students and for teachers. Research and practice have both demonstrated that parent involvement is central to academic achievement. Schools that support meaningful parent involvement have higher levels of student achievement, improved school attendance, higher graduation rates, larger enrollment in post-secondary education, and students with positive attitudes about school. All parents face challenges that prevent involvement, but immigrant families face those plus more. I've included a link that we're going to go to now that discusses facts about children and immigrant families in Alabama. So here we have a fact sheet. It discusses that promoting positive outcomes for children and immigrant families is critical given that they are among the fastest growing segment of the child population. This brief is part of a series of 50 state-specific papers intended to provide information about the importance of reducing language and literacy barriers to ensure that children and immigrant families achieve success in school and work settings. It goes over statistics and facts that are about immigrant children and families in our state. I'm only going to point out two to save a little time. The first one that I want to point out is right here. Most children in immigrant families have an English fluent parent. 3 of every 5 children in immigrant families in Alabama live with at least one English fluent parent, while families in Alabama speak another language at home and speak English very well. Thus, many children in immigrant families are well positioned to become fluent bilingual speakers, writers, and readers, if they receive formal training in both English and the native language of their parents. I think this is a positive for us because we can work with that one parent who might be the English fluent parent and communicate with them, while the other parent can still give formal training in their native language because we don't want them to lose that native language and their native culture. Another statistic that I wanted to point out is a little further down, and it is right here. 1/2 of children of immigrants in Alabama live in a family with an income below the 200% of the official poverty line. Children in immigrant families are 1/5 more likely than those in native-born families to have family incomes below 200% of the official poverty line. I just kind of wanted to point that out because it's so important for teachers to know the background of their children and know what they're coming from, because this might affect if they can complete homework assignments or certain projects. So knowing that background information is so crucial. There's many more facts and statistics that if you have the time, I would encourage you to go over and read. They're very eye-opening. Let's go back to the website now and continue on to background information. So you might ask, what has brought us to this point? As the immigrant population in the United States steadily increases, so does the need for schools to support immigrant students and their families. More and more teachers find themselves teaching students from increasingly diverse linguistic and cultural backgrounds. In a recent report, 42% of the teachers surveyed indicated that they had English language learners in their classroom, but only 12.5% of these teachers had received more than 8 hours of professional development specifically related to ELLs. This is just showing you right there that there's an increasing number of immigrant students coming to our schools. And with that said, we have to increase the hours of professional development that teachers attend in order to know the needs and to be able to meet those needs of the ELLs. I've included a table right here from the Center for Immigration Studies, and I've highlighted Alabama, and it's showing that in 2000, the immigrant population was 78,225. And then in just 10 years, in 2010, it became 169,206. This trend is increasingly growing each year. So for teachers to be ready for increasingly diverse linguistic and cultural backgrounds to be found in their classrooms, we have to do the necessary work as well to be prepared for this. Let's go on to applications. What can be done? Children may benefit tremendously if schools take steps to make minority immigrant parents feel welcome at the children's school or to decrease the language or other logistical barriers for these parents that they face. In our classrooms, it's imperative that we know the background information, experiences, and interests, so that way we are better able to provide the scaffolding needed for these students who are confronting new academic content in a new language. Here's some strategies to provide support for immigrant families: orientation programs for new immigrants, free and reduced price breakfast and lunch programs, after-school childcare programs that provide homework support, family involvement programs that support the development of reading and mathematical reasoning, parenting workshops and parent support groups, ESL classes for parents, school interpreters, community-based, culturally based social service agencies. Here's some strategies and services that we can provide for students. Preview key academic vocabulary before each lesson. Scaffold those important concepts. Provide photo illustrations. Provide support or scaffolding materials in the student's first language. Teach concepts and vocabulary in the student's first language through a community volunteer or a bilingual peer. Provide translated key concepts to preview at home. In our schools and community, language often functions as one of the most significant barriers to ELL parent-school collaboration. In the above video, I'm going to show you a school that has successfully bridged that gap. They've used parents in the community to come into the school systems to help that language barrier. So let's go ahead and watch that video.
It's the end of the school year, and the Latino family group at Beacon Hill Elementary has come together for a celebration. The group meets once a month to socialize, share information, and bond with other Spanish-speaking families. And they never miss an opportunity to link whatever they're doing to learning.
¿Están todos preparados para el verano? Los niños por todo el día en la casa. La primera cosa, como la señora Diana nos dijo.
The Latino family group started 4 years ago, and the organization exists in part because of Chilo Granizo, who came to this country as an immigrant 20 years ago.
I know about everything that I like.
I became very involved to this school because I was living across the street and my children were here, and every time that they were needing somebody to translate, I was understanding every time a little more.
Chilo became a parent volunteer, learned English alongside her daughters, and eventually was offered a position as a bilingual instructional assistant.
And being at this school, my dream have been coming true, American dream, because I had the opportunity to help many people, different ways, teach the children, work with the family, bring the family here and plant the seed, that we can have dreams in this country.
And others are very lucky.
One way that Chilo is able to help other Latino families is by leading a kindergarten parent language program.
Vamos a empezar nuestro trabajo del día de hoy y hoy vamos a hacer cosas muy interesantes. Vamos a leer, vamos a aprender poemas, vamos a trabajar nuestro vocabulario, vamos a tener una lectura en español que va a estar relacionada con lo que ustedes van a hacer el día de hoy.
Early each morning before school starts, kindergarten parents are invited to come with their children to learn to read and write in Spanish and English.
Chilo is a very interesting person in the middle in this whole school. Her real desire was to make that bridge between school and community, knowing that there are so many Latino parents who feel they have no place in school.
Why?
Chilo encourages parents to actively participate in the class as a way of letting them know that they can make a contribution.
¿Cómo se llama? Un bus. Un bus, pero
Principal Susie Murphy and the school staff also stress the importance of partnering with parents.
We have so many refugee and immigrant families here whose experience in their country has not been that they would be involved in school. So they bring their children to school and expect that we are the experts and we're the ones that are going to help their children learn to read. And we have to help them see that here our expectation is that we work together.
All of us have been going home and reading with our own child underneath our own roof. So now we're going to come together and be sharing our stories.
After a couple of years, we realized this is a great model. We want to take it to the other language groups in the school. So we started out with the Chinese and Vietnamese speaking families. And we started out using the same model of bringing the families in and saying, all right, tell us what you need.
What they wanted was to learn how to help their children succeed academically. One way to start was with a book.
Spelling classes and can be passed from one person to another or not.
We have a literacy program that is open to all families. Primarily the Asian families are attending, and we're very excited about that because this is an opportunity for them to learn English, and what their task is to do is to read with their children at home.
Schools need to let parents know that there are a number of ways they can support their child's learning at school and at home.
They can be sure their homework is in. They can come and communicate with the teachers. They can be advocates for their children. And we try to show them all the varied ways that they can be supportive of their children's academic success in school.
We would like you to create a bouquet of hopes and dreams. What do you hope to achieve by reading books together?
We've got to go where the families are and touch them, where their children are. They came here to the United States because they wanted their children to be successful. They wanted their children to be able to be readers and writers and to be able to make some choices. So we build on those dreams, and they bring their dreams, and we work together to try to make them come true.
This was just one example of how a school and community came together to support the needs of the immigrant students and families that were in their community. Let's move on to multiple perspectives. With any topic, there's going to be multiple views and difference of opinions. Some of the topics that cause controversy with supporting immigrant families is illegal immigrants in American schools and the Alabama immigration law. Pressure is mounting across the country against illegal immigrants in American schools. In some areas, schools are responding to shrinking budgets and growing student populations by trying to root out non-citizen students. While federal law restricts this practice, the issues point to the increasingly difficulty of managing immigration and education policy in America. In addition to individual schools and districts being charged with illegally asking students to provide proof of citizenship, some state lawmakers have also supported instituting laws to make this a requirement. However, Supreme Court cases have found that free public K-12 education was the legal right of all children regardless of their immigration status. I've also included a little bit about Alabama immigration law that I'll let you read. And also over here I've included a photo gallery of UAB students and others marching to protest the HB 56 Alabama immigration law. And this was on Wednesday, September 28, 2011. So it's affecting us right here in our own community. Conclusions. By providing support to immigrant families and students in need, schools ensure that immigrant students not only develop a sense of belonging, but also learn in an environment that fosters success and achievement for all. All students have the ability to learn, and with parental involvement, they are more likely to achieve academic success. So if we can work together and provide those resources needed for the immigrant children and parents in our community and make them feel welcome, then we can develop that home-school relationship that is necessary for students' educational success. I want to leave you with some questions to reflect on. What are you doing in your classroom to ensure that immigrant students and families are being supported? What is your view on Alabama's immigration law? And why do you think children of illegal immigrants should be educated? I want to show you my resource page and some of the readings that I did. And I hope you enjoy this presentation and you have a new understanding of how you can support immigrant children and families in your classroom, in your school, and in your community.